Cool.
Hello, welcome to 19 Out of Office. Today I'm joined by the lovely Phil from Funky Doodle. Say hello, Phil.
Hello, Phil.
Hello, Phil. Well done. Excellent. Follows communication and instructions. Love that from a guest. And today we're going to be finding out about who Phil is, where you come from, what is a Funky Doodle, and yeah, just your basic thoughts of 19 and how did you get here. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Phil. I run Funky Doodle. My friends, Joe and Paul and Mark behind the camera and the team. So yeah, it's a great little company we've built, and we ended up at 19 by hook or by crook.
Yeah.
It was fun how we got here.
What is a Funky Doodle? How did you come up with the name? Yeah, like I think that's the question that everyone wants to know.
I had worked with a couple of agency people and been around advertising and media my whole, since I could watch films, love film.
Yeah.
And I found that as I was getting older and working with these people, there seemed to be an awful lot of what felt like exploitation go on a lot, where you'd book a camera guy in or you'd book something like that, and there's always a faff. There was always something that was a problem.
Yeah.
And just some reason why you couldn't just go, can we just press play, edit it, and get it out the door?
Yeah.
There was always some melodrama to go through. So when we started this, the idea was to be as easy to work with as possible, and just basically the USP of the company is work really hard and no basically.
Okay.
So no one's allowed to be a bleep
We'll
that.
bleep that.
And it just comes from that sort of, I don't want excuses. I don't want sort of why it won't work. I want, can we just make this happen today, please?
Yeah, sure.
And just be amenable to work with. And it was my daughter that named it.
Oh, cute. So how did she come up with the name? Did she like brainstorm?
Well, she's had lots of marketing experience at 5 years old,
yeah.
between Bluey and Peppa Pig. And now I was sitting, I had the name, I knew I wanted to be something funky.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and she went, nice doodle. And I sort of put those two together and there was the name.
Amazing.
Funky Doodle, isn't it?
Fabulous. Honestly, sometimes the creativity that comes from a 5-year-old's mind.
We should bring them in here.
Yeah.
Let's go, right. Got a new show.
There's a lot of consultant agencies that could probably charge a lot of money for that name. Amazing. Love that. So you said you like film. Do you have do you have a favorite director? Do you have a favorite?
I do, as you know.
Yeah.
It's what everything's based around. So Guyrichie is my favorite go-to.
Yeah.
Snatch and Lock, Stock, I just think are the best films to watch when you've got literally a camera like, you can buy out of Curry's.
Yeah.
And go, right, I'm going to go and make a movie. That's the go-to. Interstellar might be a bit of a push.
Yeah.
Love all that stuff. It's amazing. But I was saying to the guys recently when we do training like we're doing for lovely Mark here, when you watch something like the card scene in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, that to me, when I watched that, I went, I can apply that to a boardroom table or a meeting or something like that to make it way more interesting to watch and add some drama to what you might be watching. So when I was watching other cameras and other people doing stuff, my wife said to me, do you learn from people online? Do you look? And I was like, no, I learn from movie directors.
So do you learn from do you ever switch off then? Will you be watching The Odyssey and you'll be like, oh, I like that frame, or I like this, and can you ever switch off?
And I think that's the wonderfulness of it, because we went to see it a couple of nights ago and I loved it. And there was a bit, they did a drone shot where Matt Damon's on the beach and it flies out from him, and I thought, I really like that. So I had a
Peter Jones idea.
So I tried this drone shot coming out from the beach, watching them swim, and there it was. And you're like, I learned that from The Odyssey.
Wow.
No one will ever know because they're just like, it's a drone shot.
Yeah.
But that little bit of inspiration you take from everything you see is just...
It's an art form, isn't it? So I guess you have to live it, otherwise you can't breathe it.
Yesterday we were doing, a guy was changing some gas canisters for a security firm we work with who go to the TES show, so, little tiny net 19, and he was taking these big silver panels off of this wall he had to go in. And I remembered a scene from, I think it's Lock, Stock Again, that was inspired by another film where they put the camera on the front of him and it follows him out exactly as he's leaving, so it just tracks his face.
Yeah, sure.
And I thought, well, what if we've got this magnetic camera? So I put it on the door.
Yeah.
And then as he took it off, it followed him and his face. So I suddenly had this Lock, Stock moment of there he is doing his thing and off he goes.
But it's amazing to be able to have that sort of creative free range, I guess, and be able to walk into a space. And I mean, I don't know about you, but you mustn't be able to walk into any sort of space without being like, like, even on, do you ever take any time off? I guess that's what I want to ask. Because, like, you know, if you're going to a wedding or you're going to a friend's birthday party, you must be like, oh, I want to reach for the camera and I want to get that. And this could be, you know what I mean? Like, do you ever take any time off?
So we shot my sister's wedding. It was my wedding present to her. And it was a weird thing because I almost wish I hadn't have volunteered for it.
Yeah. Because you wanted to enjoy the moment and
wanted to enjoy the moment and wanted to,
down.
just not be looking for a lens. And I remember there's been a couple of times where, I mean, you know what the schedule for us lot has been like. And there's been a couple of times where you almost pick it up and you're like, I don't want to look through it today.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't want to squint.
Don't want to squint.
You don't want to squint today.
And you
just
sort
want
of
to live in the moment.
Just want to live in the moment. And I think you probably find it as well when you go to parties and you're the guy taking the pictures. You can't interact with people in the same way.
Yeah, no,
There's a constant standoff of, oh, hi, guys, and that constant enthusiasm you need to be getting the best out of people. And I learned that from a guy called Greg Williams.
Well, you're very good at it. I think, like, whenever you interact, like, I think you've just got a natural charisma about you that, like, it just allows people to just, usually the most camera shy, I don't know how you do it, but they just become very relaxed and, like, even when we got, you know, when we were at some of the shows and stuff, and at first people were like, oh, no, I don't want to be on camera. But then, like, we kind of, like, softly coerce them into being on camera. But, like, you know, you do really get the best out of people. But, like, you know.
It's probably what the baseball cap's about.
Yeah.
It's a silly thing, but it's like you running around a backwards baseball cap looking like a guy from the 90s.
Yeah.
There's no threat.
And there's, I guess, juxtaposed against, like, people in suits and, like, if you're at a trade show and everyone's dressed up. I mean, slightly different than maybe some of our shows because we deal with tradies and, you know, all the different stuff. But, yeah, it's definitely
It gives you a sort of weird character that you play to go into the room and sort of be the guy in the baseball cap, and there's no sort of threat from that person because they're wearing a hat and it's all silly and it's funny and it's kind of when you go around the second time in the room. So when we're doing events, I put a red version on and it's like a red recording light. Oh, and that's where the idea came. It's just a big...
Like reflect your mood.
Exactly. It's like, right, and we're off now. So the black one goes on.
I'm off, so it's red.
Exactly.
Love that.
But that's where those kind of, like, ideas come in from, this guy, Greg Williams. He photographs the BAFTAs. And what he does is he goes around the back of the stage and he says, like, I let professionals stand at the front and do their tripod shots and all that as they're on stage. He said, what I get is when they come off the stage, I'll be standing there and I'll just have the camera there and I'll go, way, as they're coming off. And they go, I know. And that's when he clicks.
Yeah.
And I learned that doing these triathlons when I was filming those, that, you know, as people would go and buy, it's so funny when I watch the footage back when you're editing something together.
Yeah.
And you're like, go on, mate, go on, my son. Wait. And you think, shut up.
Yeah.
But what you get back is that person as they're running past going, yeah, like that.
Yeah.
And then I applied it to the first 19 show.
Yeah.
And I thought, I wonder if this will work.
What was the first 19 show?
It was the TES one that I did first.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
TSEs are in. And I was like going around it. And as I was going around the first trip I did around the building, I was like, right, you know, I'm a sensible, you know, camera up. I've got to be
and professional. We're at the security event.
And then the second time around, there were some guys playing darts. And I was like, what am I doing? I went, go on, mate, nice shot. And he looked over and he went, yeah, watch this. And I was like, oh, it works.
Yeah.
So in a strange sort of way, unless the room is deadly silent and you're recording like a speech or something like that, actually, all you want is interaction.
Yeah.
So before every time we do a shoot or whatever we're going to do, there is almost like a little 5-minute moment you'll take just to go, right, happy face on.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on in the business or family or at home, happy face on. None of that matters. Cap on. Let's go and make some magic and get the best we can out of people. And then you kind of get back in the truck or get back to your office and sort of sit there. And it is a weird.
It must be quite hard to, like, put on the mask and, you know, because obviously the aura that you give out is what the reaction that you get from whatever you're filming. So it must be quite hard when you're having those rough days at work where you're like, you know, you've got a lot going on at home or, you know, something is happening and, you
Strangely, though, I think that's why, like, with my business partners as in Paul and Joe, they keep me safe from a lot of that. And that was something we planned quite early, is that, you know, I didn't want to be standing at a 19 event, living the bestest life of going, we're going to film all this, it's going to be great. And Peter doing his theory, he's excited about all, you know, and then going, oh God, the tax return is due in tomorrow. I must run and go and do that. Because otherwise, you know, I'll be fined by the government. Or, you know, none of that happens for me. And that was a real choice of actually, you know, and I think I saw the same in 19 when I came here for the first exchange and went, oh my God, it's not just us that thinks this way, because then seeing sort of John, Alison and Peter and sort of feeling this real kind of weird synergy with Peter going, I get that. We're moving to this barn at the moment, we're doing all this big setup and like Paul went to me a few weeks ago, Phil, there are such things as budgets, you know. No, there aren't, Paul.
I've heard that before. I've heard that before. Deja vu.
Yeah, and but I think it's having those people around you when you're being creative that you can then go, you know, I'll just do me, make sure I get the best thing I can, and you almost become the product.
Yeah.
In a strange sort of way.
Nice.
And then let the business run itself.
I was going to ask you actually, like before you just mentioned about like 19 and the first time you came to one of our exchange, etc. But like, number one, what makes a good Funky, like if you were to interview someone for Funky Doodle, what sort of qualities would you look for in someone? And then is there a lot of synergy between what you've seen at 19 and what drew you to working with 19?
Yeah. I mean, the first time I went to a 19 show was with Arc Monitoring. And they said, oh, can you just come and film our stand for us at this show? And I was like, yeah, of course, that'd be great. And we were working with them. Yeah. Lovely company. And they'd been really loyal to the security show, and they'd been one of the first ever exhibitors and all this kind of stuff. So they're still going strong. They love the show. And I went with them, and as ever, my exploring mind was like, I went in to film them, and it didn't take long before I was kind of going, oh, what else is here?
Oh, yeah.
And I started then kind of just walking in the room just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
And came across this 6-foot blonde lady called Marie, who was doing a podcast.
I think I'm going to say Peter. I was like...
Came a little bit later.
Yeah, okay.
And we got talking, and I got Sean on a podcast with her. And anyway, Marie and I were just sitting there talking, waiting for Sean to come over. Struck up this relationship, and we then, like the 4 o'clock drinks came, and she then went, oh, this is Peter Jones, he runs the show. Yeah. I was like, wow, cool, that's amazing. And I was like, you're not the Peter Jones, I was like, that whole conversation. But then my name is Phil Knight, who founded Nike. So our first mutual conversation was that people are really disappointed when we're
constantly living in someone's shadow.
Exactly. It's like, I didn't find Nike and he's not a dragon. Yeah. But we're doing everything we can. Yeah. So, and I said to him, my first thing I said to him, I think, was like, have you ever flown a drone around this place before? I know, it gives you heart palpitations. I know. And I didn't know Nick then. So
I hadn't even started.
I hadn't even started. You're really stressed about it.
And they were like, yeah, Peter's like this, you know, he'll just do whatever he wants. So it's like, I was talking to him, he was like, yeah, I almost got arrested. Yeah. So it's your fault.
It was my fault. Okay. And that's how we kind of met and clicked, because I said to him, like, I've got my drone in my backpack. Why don't we fly it around the NEC and get the whole thing? And there's a shot I've still got where it's coming back into land. I'm flying it. And there's me and him standing there,
waving,
grinning away, waving, going, this is so much fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah, later on that afternoon, we had to talk to the police.
Yeah.
Because we'd flown a drone inside the NEC.
The NEC.
And we got
How did Peter put it on LinkedIn? Was that like...
Within seconds.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think I gave him the file, I coloured it slightly, gave it to him, and it went straight out on LinkedIn.
And you know what the lesson is there? Don't give Peter the files.
Since we signed at 19, it's kind of been like, everything goes through Nick.
Yes.
Everything.
We do not give the files.
We do not give
listen,
the
we don't
files
judge. We don't give the files to Peter. Those are the 2 rules of thumb.
But I think what I found was I walked out of the security show afterwards, and I was driving back, and we'd just started Funky Doodle, really. And we had a few clients. And there was this almost like longing in me to go, I think I want to be part of that. Yeah. And it took a year of sort of back and forth and discussions and going through Marie, then going through others, and kind of just thinking, when I had the rumours of names of, you know, Nick and Ruth and all these people I needed to talk to. Yeah. And I was standing in the school queue one night to pick up the kids, and my phone rang, And it was like, Peter Jones, random.
Yeah.
And it was just, Phil, hi, we want to set up a podcast studio, and we want to do this, and we want to do that. And I thought of you, can you come in next week? And that was it. We were for 19. And I think sometimes you just have to trust that the universe kind of has your back and goes, do you know what? That fits, go for it.
Yeah.
And I think with the first exchange we did was my first gig for you guys. And I remember filming it. And I remember coming in thinking, this is it, this is my one to shine.
This is like your audition.
This is my audition. And then when I got to
one
it...
shot, one opportunity.
Exactly. It's like, if I screw this up.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought, actually, I'm not going to screw this up because I know exactly what I want to do. I know what I want it to look like. And I know what I think is in Peter's head of what he wants it to look like.
Yeah.
And the luck of the whole thing was, it's what I do anyway.
Yeah, sure.
And
that's the easiest thing, right? Like, there's no sort of facade, or there's no sort of like, you know what I mean? There's no...
Yeah.
But we can bleep it about you. Like, you know, it's just very natural, and I think that's why you do get the best out of people, because you're so natural that it's not manufactured. It's actually just like...
Let's just have some fun.
Let's just see what we can do, you know? Like, let's rock up somewhere. Oh, that's a really cool element. Like, let's see what we could do there. Like, can we put a camera on this? Can we do that? You know, I just think that... it's amazing. Like, you know, I think that we work really well together as well. Like, you've helped me in terms of like looking at how, you know, you can edit things and capture things, and there's just so much to learn. So,
and I think the magic of the magic of kind of creativity is that nothing's wrong, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I think
I was always a bit scared to like push that record button.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you get a piece of kit and you're like, oh my God, I really wanted this piece of kit, and you get it, and then you're like, I'm actually really scared to use this because I don't know how to use it. And it was almost a bit like of that fear of just hit and record. But then, like, since collaborating with you, and you're just like, fuck it, let's try it. And you're just like, oh, actually, that's the best way to be. Like, if it doesn't work, no one in the world has to see it.
No.
You know, and you just say, okay, well, we tried it, didn't work, whatever. You know, like, I think that's a really, like, endearing trait.
And I think equipment is only as good as the person whose hand it's in, right? And, you know, you can be a well-trained, you know, filmmaker, whatever it might be, but you don't have something that just makes people go, wow.
Wow.
And, you know, you can be a donut who never went to university, never just had a love of film, who picked up a video camera and went, this will work.
Are you the donut?
Oh, and it's funny because I say to my mum and dad now, like, I studied for years to play the drums in a band and, you know, studied music and everything else. But what's weird about it is when you trace back all those little bits, everything we do is cut to the beat because it can't be outside of time.
Yeah,
that just doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't.
So when you then watch what we make back, I imagine in my head when I'm driving home after editing something that I've just created, you know, greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
You've got to think like that.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that it's to the beat. It makes you feel something, hopefully, because you've timed it to those moments. And I think
that Phil Collins gorilla carries moment.
That is the moment, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the one that did it for me was when we were at the security show and we did those 3 days.
Yeah.
And I knew 19 and Us were going to be this thing for best friends forever.
Yeah.
But it was like we did... The first day we did some club tune. The second day we did another club tune. And on the third day when I was filming, I phoned you and said, can I try something a bit different? You're like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
And we did it to How to Save a Life by The Fray. And I remember doing it and we put it out and we were getting messages from people saying that they were tearful.
Yeah.
And I think what the great thing about creativity is you can kind of go, just because it's a great big trade show, just because there's thousands of people here, just because there's people looking at equipment, doesn't mean that actually there isn't an emotion in the room.
Doesn't mean it doesn't have a heart.
Exactly. And in the next couple of hours, this thing that everyone's worked so hard for the year to do has come to an end.
Yeah.
And
that's important with a show as well, right? Or anything that you do, it's got to have a heart. Like the videos that you produce as well, it's got to have a heart behind it, it's got to have an emotion behind it, otherwise it's just flat, you know, like, and I think people can really, that's why I think nowadays with, I mean, I'm not going to go into an AI conversation, but that's the difficulty that people have with AI is that, you know, you could generate something, but because there's no soul in it, it doesn't click.
Recently I was listening to this podcast on filmmaking, and it was saying about real world scenarios, and when we watched He-Man a couple of nights ago, and the Master of the Universe thing, and we were watching it, and there was a chase through this forest, And I was watching it, kind of going, I'm not feeling anything. And when I was a
Yeah.
kid, there was the scene in Star Wars, the Return of the Jedi one, where they're racing through the forest on the speeders.
Yeah.
And they're going as fast as they can. They're like hitting into trees, and there's explosions and all this sort of stuff. And everything was done real.
Yeah.
A guy went out into the forest with a Steadicam and walked, miles and miles and miles to get the
Yeah.
amount of footage they needed to race through these trees.
Yeah.
And then they just sped up the footage. But they're real trees, they're real things, and you're watching it going fast. And when I watched this He-Man scene when they're racing through this forest, it's all CG, and it's all pink and it's all this and it's fine, but there's no weight to it. There's no
Reality to it.
yeah. You don't feel like you're kind of watching anything. You're watching a sequence that you go,
Okay.
that's great.
Yeah.
And again, I went to see like the Odyssey a few nights ago, and watching how they did that, because everything is real.
Yeah.
Computers help, and we use it. The last video we made where we were talking about the space acquisition.
Yeah.
Peter wanted, it to go to the moon, so we went to our design guys and went, we need it to go to the moon, and it did.
Yeah.
Now, we couldn't have filmed that properly unless we would have spent gazillions, but the lead up to it was the hugs, the
Yeah.
emotion, the wonderfulness of it, champagne corks popping and everything else, and then that little sprinkle at the end of magic of, and then you shoot to the moon. That's how I think filmmaking should be.
Yeah.
Not the other way around, going, it'd be nice to get some humans in all of this sprinkle.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It's deep, isn't it?
It's very deep. I think we're getting too deep for the pod. It's probably a good place to leave it. But no, it's been great. Like, obviously, we love having you come to our office. Like, every time you're here, you bring a sparkle. And obviously, you're able to capture those moments that otherwise they would just go unmissed. And, as important it is to put the heart into your videos and stuff, it's also about us showing what we're doing here and the heart of 19. And there are so many different people here and so many different stories to tell. Unfortunately, there's just one Phil.